Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live without a roof over your head or the financial stability to know you're guaranteed a meal every day? Homelessness is not only a nationwide issue, but also a bigger issue in our community in Abilene, Texas. Many people bounce from going to shelters or under street bridges in terrible conditions, and they don't even have a choice. This topic is significant because people literally have nowhere to go, and it forces them to harmful and awful conditions. In the Abilene Reporter News, Tanya Iserer wrote, the 1976 Cooper High School graduate and her boyfriend made their home, concealed from passersby in the shadowy culverts of the bridge at North First and Cedar. This is only representing two people, one being from Abilene, and how they are living. I've researched a variety of newspaper articles and online sources to give you the most valuable and valid information with this topic. Homelessness is a continuing issue with our community, and it needs to be addressed and fixed. My hopes today are to educate you more on why homelessness is such a huge issue in Abilene, Texas, and how the homeless population struggles and what we can do to help. Homelessness is a recurring issue in Abilene, Texas. Tanya Iserer, again from the Abilene Reporter News, wrote, life on the streets is difficult. Sometimes homeless people don't eat properly or bathe regularly, and sometimes they're beaten, robbed, or killed, making it a day-to-day struggle to survive. This probably isn't something new that we may know, but putting it into perspective can make it much more real. Although it is dangerous and unhealthy, living on the streets to these people may not be any different for them. Everyone goes through different situations, and some of these people may not have chose to live that way. Regardless of the different settings, I still believe we should reach out to these people and educate them in ways to better themselves. When we see homeless people on the side of the road, we usually think two different emotions, sympathy or not sympathy. Many of us don't stop to think as to why that person is there where they are. Unemployment, substance abuse, unable to make housing payments, and even laziness are only a handful of reasons as to why somebody may be homeless. On the Move for Hunger website, it states, according to estimates from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, a family with a full-time worker making minimum wage could not afford a fair market rent of a two-bedroom apartment anywhere in the U.S. The lack of affordable housing is one of the biggest issues behind homelessness. Another problem homeless people struggle with is substance abuse. A fact from the website Do Something states about 75% of homeless teens use drug or alcohol as a means to self-medicate or deal with the traumatic experiences and abuse they face. We've all heard stories of people giving a homeless person some money and then seeing them use that money to buy alcohol or drugs. But what if that's all they know? What if they don't know any better than to constantly resort to those things, even if that's the reason where they are? There are many different issues and problems that lead to someone becoming homeless. In our community, we don't tend to think about how they struggle and to what degree. The homeless population in Abilene struggles more than we may think. Not only are there people struggling to be fed, but also for a place to stay. Many homeless shelters and supportive housing places are first come, first serve, and they don't usually have enough room for everybody. On the Homelessness in America website, you can type in the city of your choice and find different shelters available. The website also states, many homeless shelters are full and have a long waiting list, but if you contact the organization, you can ask how to get on the waiting list. This can be more beneficial for those that may be too late and still have a chance at staying somewhere. A problem branch for this, though, may be because there is limited access to even search or find somewhere to live. Most homeless people will go to the same shelters because they don't know where any others are. Computers are limited, and I would venture to say most of these people don't have a cell phone with internet access. Without the ability and technology to search for more places, going under street bridges and finding a cozy place on the side of the road is what most people will resort to. Apart from shelters and food kitchens and food pantries are struggling to provide enough food to those who come. Most of these organizations are running off of donations and volunteers, and is not a guaranteed system. The Food Bank of West Central Texas website states, while 1 out of 5 adults and 1 out of every 4 children in the big country lives in poverty and has difficulty meeting basic nutritional needs, enormous quantities of surplus food are available from the food industry and food manufacturers. Since 1983, the mission of the FBWCT has been helping to fight hunger in the big country by providing food to nonprofit organizations that feed the hungry. Although they provide 45 meals for every $10 donation. Most of these meals aren't what you and I would probably want to eat. Now, I know I can't let my pickiness come into play, but think about what these people are given. Canned foods, boxed foods, and frozen foods are given, and most of them probably don't meet the nutritional needs that everybody needs. I understand these meals are given just to satisfy hunger, but why not provide the daily nutritional values of the foods we need in order to be healthy? The Community Foundation of Abilene receives funds and donations to provide the needs and services to different homeless organizations in Abilene, one of these being soup kitchens and food pantries. They have a unique way of giving, too. You can donate with cash, mutual funds, stock, retirement plans, life insurance, or with gifts. Their mission is to endow Abilene, and they certainly have made a difference. By describing and talking about the different organizations and places that homeless people typically rely on, I've said a little bit about how we can help. Rather than just giving money or our time to help make a meal, I believe there's much more that we can do. The majority of these people may not have a high school degree or no education at all. With this issue, they may not understand the bigger things in life that we learn as we progress later on into our daily living and education. The Community Foundation of Abilene not only provides information and resources for food pantries and homeless shelters, but also educational values. They have a scholarship program that people can sign up for in order to further their education. Grants and resources are also available for those who need some help starting a better life and becoming more successful. The National Association for the Education of Homeless Children and Youth writes, "Education is the key to preventing homelessness for today's children and youth. They absolutely need and deserve educational opportunities to commensurate to those with their house peers." This organization is specifically designed to help in educating the homeless youth population with development, resources, and training to become more productive in their life. When it comes to the teens and youths of Abilene, we may not notice just how many kids are struggling day to day. I can't say there's a specific way to point them out, but we do need to be more aware. For those that aren't in school and still don't have a home, we should reach out to them. It probably wouldn't be the best solution to invade them and force them to educate themselves, because they are people too. But we can get to them when they come to us, such as at food kitchens, shelters, or organizations, and we can tell them what to do to further their education. Apart from classes and training for daily living skills, there's almost always another underlying issue to do something. We've already discussed the issue with substance abuse among the homeless population, so what if that is stemmed from something else? Besides substance abuse, sexual, mental, and physical abuse is a huge issue as well. Again, Tanya Iser from the Abilene Reporter News reports, on a national level, a 1994 Foundation study found 50% of homeless women and children fleeing from abuse. With this problem, many people may not know how to cope with traumatic events and personal issues. Counseling services and availability to even talk to these people could do great things for them. Lynn Shawcross from Counseling Today writes, "Homelessness leaves people feeling they have nowhere to go or turn. Most of the clients that Shawcross faces allows her to recognize homeless people as fellow human beings. She even says, given different situations or experience or circumstances, any of us could find ourselves in the same position, which is so true. We should be able to look at these people and not stereotype them immediately. Understanding the different circumstances or issues that people are faced with can help us to understand more about where they are in life now." Lynn Shawcross notes, "The experience of being homeless can be traumatic in itself. We need to be sympathetic in the way that something traumatic may have happened to lead these people to where they are today. Not only is this just in Abilene, Texas, but wherever we are, we need to address the issue of homelessness and voice our thoughts in order to better the community. Homelessness is a reoccurring issue in our community, and it needs to be fixed. There is so much we can do to lend a helping hand, whether it be through money, time, or simple acts of kindness that can go a long way."